Good evening, everyone. Thank you for waiting. Welcome to another live session series of Sash Factor International. My name is Carl Capellan, and I'm your host for tonight. We are very excited to present to you a very lovely lady who hails from Marinduque. And one interesting fact is she was raised by gay parents. Without further ado, I present to you the very lovely lady. Her name is Nadine Bornilla.
Hello, Carl. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so
Hello,
much for
Simone.
having me.
Thank you so much for gracing our live series tonight. My first question to you is, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Of course, I'm feeling very nervous and excited, as we all know. Today's the last day for votation, so top 30s, the announcement for top 30s just right around the corner, and I just can't wait.
All right. Now that you've mentioned the magic word top 30, before I ask my questions to you, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about it?
Well, as I said again, I'm really nervous and excited. Although my hopes are very high right now, and my parents are already more confident, I think, than I am. They're already preparing my clothes for if ever we're going to be checking in a hotel. They're already contacting designers, telling them, oh, let's prepare these clothes na. Ito pang breakfast niya, ito pang event. And I'm just enjoying watching them see that. It's also very frightening, of course, because nakaka-pressure because right now there's not really much that we can do as candidates because as I said again, today's the last day for votations. We've already done the interview challenge. All we have to do right now is wait, and yeah, it's very frightening.
Yeah. I hear that you're frightened, but also to counter that frightened feeling, I'm glad to hear that your parents are behind you and supporting you all the way. They're all out in this endeavor. So to your point, as they say, just let go and let God. Now, it's very evident that you're a very eloquent guest. So you wouldn't make my life hard, and this interview is going to be very fluid, I believe. So my first question to you is, tell us something interesting about yourself.
Well, I think the interesting things that I've said about myself are already in the interview challenge. As you said, I'm an incoming freshman at the De La Salle University. My course will be medical biology. I've always dreamt of becoming a doctor, specifically a neurosurgeon. And yeah, I was raised by two gay men, so you can just imagine. They're really, really excited knowing that I'm competing in Miss Universe Philippines. And ever since I was younger, I've been very much into pageantry, and I also have. I've competed with a sister before in India, and I was delighted to know that she's also competing in her country's Miss Universe, and she's also vying for her country's crown. So we're really hoping that if our stars align, we'd be able to see each other again on the international stage.
All right, perfect. Now, I would also ask you this question. I would like to give us three adjectives to best describe you, and if you want to tell us more as to why those are the three adjectives you chose, please do so.
Okay, so this is not the adjective that I used to describe me, but I think it's a compilation of all those three adjectives. I'm a Filipina, and I think that once someone knows that you're a Filipina, they know you to be a very beautiful person. We Filipinas, we emulate this type of exotic beauty that I think that majority of the people that I've encountered, they just envy it, and we're also very resilient people. I think that as Filipinos, we've come across a lot of adversities. May it be natural calamities or many other factors. We've proven time and time again that we're strong and we can rise above them. And since us Filipinos are known to be very hospitable all over the world, I think that as a person, I'm very approachable.
All right. I like the way you packaged it. So it's like a Filipino, which the word Filipino encompasses all the positive adjectives that people can think of. So that's a very clever way or smart way of doing it. I love it.
Yes.
It goes to show how smart you really are. All right. Thank you. Now, my next question is, this is a very interesting question. We all know that you've been raised by two loving gay parents, gay dads, that is. Tell us more about it. Yeah, tell us more about it first. Could you please paint us a picture on growing up with gay parents raising you up?
My life with them started when I was 5 years old. They took me in from my grandparents in Bicol, and they took me with them to Manila. And at first, I was very much indifferent to the fact that I was being raised by two men because, I was just very much satisfied with the love and care they were giving me. It never really occurred to me that, this is an unconventional family setup because at the time I wasn't exposed yet to, or I didn't think that it was the ideal na it had to be a man and a woman raising a child. At the time I was just really happy with the people who were there for me. And I think that growing up was very much enjoyable for me just because, I'm a really kikai girl. So it felt as though they were just my barkada the entire time. I would talk to them about boys. I would go shopping with them. It would be really easy to ask them to buy clothes for me because they'd love it as well. And again, I never really thought that it was a problem until because we had a lot of family and friends who were very accepting of us. And the only time that it occurred to me that this was an actual problem was when I applied to the International Catholic School, and I got rejected. I wasn't able. They weren't able to grant me admission to that school because of my family background, because of my family setup. They said that they can't really grant me admission because I belong in a gay family. And I think that, at the time I was very much disheartened, but not as disheartened as my parents. They constantly blamed themselves for it. They think that it wasn't right that I wasn't granted admission because of them. And after that, of course, although it may have been a very disheartening thing for us, we couldn't really dwell on it as long as we wanted to because school was already starting. School season was already starting, and I couldn't really go with the international school schedule since their classes start on August, and here in the Philippines, schools usually start already by June or July. So I was already pretty late, and I didn't want to miss a year. So again, I tried to apply to Colegio San Agustin Makati, the school that I was planning to leave, hopefully, the school that I was planning to leave. But they granted me admission without question because I was a student there from before, and I think that my love for them just grew more. From the very beginning, ever since my senior kinder years, they were very much accepting of me and my family, considering that they're also a Catholic school. And yeah, and that's also the school where I graduated.
Thank you so much for giving me that story. So it's disheartening to your word. It's disheartening to hear that you are still experiencing discrimination, even though it's obvious that your parents raised you well and you have Catholic values. But regardless, we're able to see that sometimes a rejection is really a redirection because you were rejected by a particular school, but you were redirected to the school that you belong to and welcomed you with arms wide open, right?
Yes, yes, that's right. And I'm grateful that it happened to me because, I have a very good support system around me. Although my parents at the time were very much heartbroken by what happened, they still did really well, being a parent, being there for me, helping me cope with the rejection. And, just overall, I think that it was good that it happened to me. When compared to other people, similar things could have been happening to them, and it's possible that they don't have anyone surrounding them. So
Correct.
I'm here to, it's good that I experienced that, and now I'm an advocate and, yeah, a strong ally of the community.
Perfect. And also, I'm really happy to do this because to have this interview with you because we are able to show that gay parents it's a reality, and we're able to show them that we are capable to raise good children. The fact that you're here in front of us is a testament to a gay family's ability to raise very strong children, and for that, I commend your parents for doing so. Now, I heard from you that uh, you were no, no, no. You were 5 years old when your gay parents took you in. So from Bicol. So I would surmise that during those first 5 years you were in Marinduque. Was that or in Bicol? Is that correct?
No, actually, the thing is, I've never really been to Marinduque. The reason
Okay.
why I'm representing Marinduque is because that's the home province of my stepfather. And
Oh,
over the many years that my stepfather raised me, because ever since I was 5 years old, my biological father, he was very busy with his medical training, so I had to be left with my stepfather. And he sacrificed a lot. He had a very luxurious job at one of the top shopping centers here in the country, and he gave that up just so that he'd be able to look after me and my brother while my dad is busy, with his medical training. And
all right.
I think that I owe a lot. I owe a lot to him, and I'm doing this, of course, not just for him, but for my advocacy and for the people of Marinduque. I feel like, while getting to know the place, I've also fallen in love with the people in it. Because
Yeah.
I remember from Miss Monica Rabanera. She's my accredited partner. At the very beginning, I was very much hesitant because I'm representing a place that I've never been to. Only a place that I've heard of from my parents. And I also heard from her that, like, it's very difficult representing Marinduque because people of Marinduque are very picky with who gets to represent their place, because of course they want someone who knows their place, who knows the province inside out, and that's very much understandable. So I really made it a point that I know what I'm representing, because
All right.
it's
And
just right that I do.
yeah, I appreciate your no, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your candor. For you to answer this question very matter of fact and very truthful, I admire that. It just shows that, I mean, yeah, I mean, you did not sugarcoat it, and I like the way that it is an homage to your parents, and there's nothing wrong with that. And and,
Yeah.
and I admire you for being honest. I like people who are honest. Now, let me ask you another question though. So, I know this may sound cliche, but since you were raised by gay parents, what was your first recollection of beauty pageants? And yeah, what was your tell us more about it.
I love that you correlated this question to the fact that I'm raised by two gay men. And I think that it's very spot on. I think my very first recollection was us watching Miss Venus Ra in Miss
Oh,
Universe. I think that was 2010, if I'm
yeah,
not mistaken. Yes, every pageant season, my parents would invite over their friends, and me and my brother, we just watch them jumping up and down, screaming, pulling each other's hair, and it's the entire thing's so chaotic and it's very festive at the same time. I remember, while watching that, I admired Miss Venus Ra, and I also wish that in the future I want to be someone who makes them that happy.
okay. All right. Now that you've mentioned Venus, right? I want to mention another name that when people see you initially, they think that you're lookalike, and I guess you know who I'm trying to reference to, and her name is Attorney Patch Magtanong. People are telling you that there is a great resemblance between you and her. What are your thoughts about it?
I think I'm very much flattered every time I hear from someone that I look just like Attorney Patch Magtanong. I remember watching her in Binibining Pilipinas, and in her, of course, in Miss International, and she's a very commendable candidate. She's very beautiful, very bright. I think that she'd definitely be someone that I'd want to be like, if I were to be compared to anyone. Right, it'd be such an honor to be compared to her. And of course, aside from this, oh no, no, never mind. That's the end. That's the end of that sentence.
It's okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now, I watched your introduction video before, so we'll just touch base lightly on some things. So you are incoming medical biology student. So what made you decide to take that course?
As I said, I've always dreamt of becoming a doctor, and we're in a medically inclined family. My parents, they own their very own clinic, and of course, in the future, I want to contribute to contribute to our family business, and not just that, but medical biology is what my dad also took as his pre med. So I'm just following in his footsteps.
All right. Okay. All right. So you're in a way your parents carved the way or carved the path for you to follow. So all right. Now, Also, previously have you dabbled with musical theater, with choral competitions, and even you've joined the pageant, as you have mentioned, because you have a pageant sister from India. So my question to you is, what were your takeaways from those experiences, and how did it help you become the woman that you are today?
I think that the number one takeaway that I got from that experience is that my parents are absolute stage moms. My parents are absolute stage moms. And although at the time it was something that I found very annoying, because of course, as a child, you want to be just, living your life and just playing games on your phone or playing with your friends. I think that I'm very thankful that they led me towards this other path where I'm more active, where I'm doing ballet, where I'm doing other things, other productive things, of course. Because nevertheless, I still enjoyed my childhood. It's just I think that I became a more whole person because of them. I
Oh,
became more coordinated, I became more well rounded, and I think that it's, thanks to them.
all right. I've always believed that when you have kids, you should do not bring, do not buy them material things. Instead, give them experiences. And based on from our short conversation as we go on so far, or thus far, I can sense that your parents have given you both. Of course, the material things because they can afford it, and the other one is the wealth of experience. You wouldn't be this sophisticated at your age and what you call this, very articulate if you were raised well by your parents. Now, while I was speaking, I'm drawn to your background, as I mentioned to you before in the backstage that I like your background. But I'm particularly drawn to the drawing behind you. Is that the drawing or the portrait of your parents?
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. I think I think
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a
yeah. That's
mirror. Mirror.
it.
Yes, this is actually a drawing of my parents. I think it was drawn by. I think it was drew by Tito Edwin Oy, if I'm
Oh,
not mistaken,
the designer.
or a family friend. Yes.
All right. Okay. Now that we're talking about your parents, take us back when you decided to join Miss Universe Philippines, and how did your parents react to it?
You know, they were. Um, I'm not saying that they pushed me, but they were definitely showing me the pros, if I join. Because of course I'm 18. I was very hesitant when I was seeing the rumored applicants. Palang. I think that of course the candidates that I was already seeing, they looked very intimidating at the time.
All right.
And yeah, I think that I'm just really grateful that I listened to my intuition, I listened to them as well, and I joined anyway. And I'm here right now, and I've gotten this far. Hopefully, I'd get myself further, and I just make Marinduque and them proud.
All right. Thank you. My apologies because my ring light failed on me, so we'll just continue without my lights on.
It's fine, you still look great, naman.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, of course, when we were talking earlier, it seems to me, or I have the impression that you have a lot of your parents have a lot of friends who are helping you behind this journey. So now is your time to tell us which camp do you belong to, and who are the people behind you in this journey.
I actually never had a camp. Ever since my first pageant, I've always had just one team, and it mainly composes of me, my parents, my brother sometimes, and Tita Shandy Monte Carlo for my pasarela, Mamu Tonet Chua for my hair and makeup, and a new addition, of course, to the team is Tito Patrick Henry Mercano for my styling.
Okay. Thank you. So in a way, you can be considered as an independent, correct?
Yes, I'm an independent candidate.
Okay. Terrific. Now that we're into passion related questions, my question to you is, so how has the pandemic affected your preparations for this pageant, and how is your mental health? How is your mental health so far at this point of the competition?
I always made it a point to make myself busy, make sure that I'm communicating with a lot of people, just so I'd be distracted from the fact that this is happening. This is really happening right now. the pandemic definitely, took a toll on a lot of people's mental health, and it's understandable. It's much more difficult to connect with a lot of people, but I think that with social media, it made it more easier. And I'm just making use of it a lot. And in terms of preparation, I think that for me, at least, it was very much advantageous because, of course, as you know, because I did dabble with a lot of things in the past, choral competitions, musical theater, and ballet. I'm big on time management. I'm big on time management, and ever since the very beginning, we were already given the schedule as to when this certain requirement is due for us candidates. And me and my team, we made it a point to submit all those maybe in time or earlier. So yeah, in terms of preparation, it was easier for us. And I think that, right now we're kind of done with everything. All we're waiting for right now is the announcement for top 30, and everything else is good now.
Okay, perfect. My follow-up question to that is, at this point of at this point of the competition, what were your realizations thus far? Parang, okay, ganito pala siya, or yeah, what were your realizations about yourself, about life in general, or about this pageantry journey so far at this point of the competition?
I think that my number one realization so far, not just in this pageantry but overall, not just in this pageant but overall, is that life really does, it goes on. Though we're enduring this pandemic and a lot of people are losing their loved ones, we as Filipinos, we still we still rise above it all. And I think that, continuing this pageant, still having Miss Universe Philippines, it's a great representation of that above any adversity we may encounter, we'd still go far and beyond just so someone would represent our country on that international stage.
Okay. So what I'm getting from you is that come hell or high water, the show must go on, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And I
Now,
think that that's a mindset that a lot of us needs right now because, not just because we're enduring this pandemic, we have to put our lives on hold, our dreams on hold. There are great platforms such as Miss Universe Philippines that allows us to continue our dreams.
all right. Okay. They say failure to prepare is preparing for failure. To satiate the curiosity of our fans who are asking, do you already have your evening gowns and your national costume?
Of course. Of course I already have the sketches palang. Because of course they're already the making of it is already underway. It's just that right now because we were told by the organization that we have to be prepared already for if ever we'd be included in the top 30, at least meron ng sketch. So yes, I think that I'm very much prepared for it already and hoping that I do get in as well.
All right. Okay. Now let's talk about more. Let's talk more about rather your recent video. So your the first video I would like to talk about is your runway challenge video. So talk to us more about it. What was the idea behind it? What was the peg? And yeah, tell us more about it.
The team that I was working with, the videographers, they made it really fun. They made it really fun. It was very light for me. I think that it emulates naman I think that it's obvious naman in the video that I was just enjoying myself. Although I was enjoying myself, of course it was very difficult because the road that I was walking on, it's not just flat. There were a bunch of bumps, and actually had to go through two pairs of heels just so we
Oh,
can shoot the entire thing because they kept breaking. And
oh,
just I mean, aside from that, the entire thing was just very much enjoyable for me.
okay, terrific. All
Yeah,
right, I'm glad that it was an enjoyable experience for you despite the minor setbacks. Now,
yeah.
how about your casting video and your swimsuit? So let's talk first about your swimsuit. What was as an 18-year-old girl, but not a pageant newbie. So what was the peg? What was the idea behind your swimsuit photo?
The swimsuit shot, I actually enjoyed a lot because, of course, during the previous pageants that I've joined, they were teen pageants, so I couldn't go for any super daring poses. And I think that now that this is an adult pageant, I can do whatever I want, but of course still looking very classy and
Yeah,
modest. And I
yeah.
think that I think that I achieved that with my swimsuit shot, and I'm just really happy with it. Thank you, Tito Raymond Saldana.
Yeah. I mean, if it's done by the Raymond Saldana, it must be good, right? And it
Yeah.
must be classy and in good taste. All right.
Mhm.
Now, how about your casting video? Tell us more about it. Any interesting story in the background or while you're doing it? Tell us more about it.
The casting video, actually, we shot it right after we did the runway video. Yes, it wasn't a cramped thing, but we already had before a casting video, but I actually just wanted to do another one, just for safety.
Yeah.
And the new one was something that we liked more. We agreed on it as a team, and that's the one we submitted. And the entire shot for that was just really fun. I think that it was really quick as well. It wasn't too hassle for us. We as a team just enjoyed shooting it. That's all.
All right. Now you've mentioned you're 18. This is your. I guess this is no. This is not your first major pageant. But as an 18-year-old going against pageant veteran, so to speak, have you scouted the competition and what are your thoughts about the competition?
I think that it's not too difficult to be exposed to seeing who your competitors are. Of
Okay.
course, because we already have front runners, and you could already tell who are gonna be scary on stage in terms for us candidates. And I think that if I um, if I would think of someone who I think of as a threat in this competition, I've said it numerous times already in previous pageants, it's definitely Miss Katrina de Maranan. And although I say this, we actually talk from time to time now. I think she's very approachable. She's really nice, and I'm hoping that I get to see her on top 30, and we could get closer. Hopefully.
Yeah, I like the fact. I interviewed another lady as well prior to this, and I like the fact when ladies would really be vulnerable and tell who they think are the other strong candidates are. What because it shows their honesty, their vulnerability, and also they acknowledge other people. It's like you know what I'm saying. It's like queen cheering other queens on. So that's very important. That's very mature of you as well for an 18-year-old lady joining this competition. Now, I have another question for you. We are going to call this indulge in some few fashion-related questions, if you don't mind. First question is, when was the last time you failed? How was it, and what was your takeaway from it?
I think the last time that I failed, though I do think of it as my successful moment as well,
All right,
it's definitely the interview challenge. Only because although although I
tell us
was
more.
included,
Tell us more, please.
yes, although I was included as the top seven, and of course
Yes.
it's a very big thing already for me. I definitely think that I could have done better. I think that it was such a time crunch, the interview challenge.
Yeah.
It went by so quickly that after that, I was just telling the girls, "Now, don't worry, because it's gonna go by so quickly. You don't even have time to process how good or how bad you did." And it was very frightening. And like after that, I didn't know whether I should be confident with myself, whether I did good, whether I did bad. And watching myself, I think I could have definitely done better. So I think that although it is also something that I could perceive as my successful moment, because I think that it's still a very big thing to be included in the top 7 of this specific challenge. I think that I could have done better still.
Okay. At which point of that interview you think you could have done better? I'm just curious.
I think definitely the first first question, just because I was warming up pa lang. I was warming up pa lang. I think that I did the best on my last question na. But nevertheless, I'm still proud of how I handled everything. I think that my parents, they were telling me that it wasn't obvious naman that you were surprised and that you were rushing because um during the interview challenge, us girls, we're not exposed to the timer. We're given the choice to time ourselves on our mobile phones and just rush it when we think we're cutting it close now to 30 seconds. And luckily I didn't reach that point because I think that I would have panicked, and I chose not to time myself because I think that I'd be focusing more on the timer than my actual question.
I agree.
So
That's
yeah.
correct. Okay. All right. You know what? We're having this conversation for around 30 minutes now, and now I understand. I mean, why you're there on top seven. I posted this. I posted the picture of the seven girls, and I mentioned that I'm going to interview this lady on Tuesday at 8 p.m. And now I really understand why you're there. Having personally interviewed you tonight gives me first-hand experience as to why this lady deserves a spot in the top seven. Now, let's flip the question over. So the next one, but I think you already answered this. But you can, if you think of another success, please do so. So when was the last time you succeeded aside from the challenge? And what was your takeaway from it?
I think that in terms of me succeeding naman, I think that so far my biggest success is getting into top 50. I think that every announcement, every time that MUP would announce the official list for top 75, top 50, me and my parents would panic because as of the moment I don't have as big of a fan base as as the front runners of this competition. And knowing that, of course, not only is this competition identifying the girls who are gonna advance to the next level by the panel yeah, by the judges, but of course they're also they're also taking into consideration the votes. And I think that that was just one thing that I was really scared of. I think that I wasn't too confident with myself, thinking that, oh my god, I'm going up against Kisses Delavine, Maureen Robelwitz, and Katrina de Marana, and Lauren May Bautista, and everyone else who already has such a big fan base. And it's really scary to think of, but I think that my parents, they're very hands-on. They're very hands-on with this thing, and they're getting as many supporters. We're getting as many supporters as we can, and I'm really glad that, oh my god, we made it to top 50. We pulled through because from top 50, not only is it going to be based off of votations, but interview challenge. And I think that I somewhat delivered, and hopefully we make it to top 30, and that's going to be my next biggest that's going to be my next biggest achievement so far.
I'm just curious. Describe to me currently the agony of waiting for the results.
Many of
Describe to me
ways.
the process. Hopefully, this could be a cathartic experience for you. Parang session, therapy session. So, what's describe to me the agony here?
you know because we as candidates, we don't know when they're specifically gonna announce this, because it also comes as a surprise to us. They tell us they're gonna announce it on this specific date, because we're already given the schedule, so we're already expecting that, okay, let's just wait for this date and then we'll know if we're in or if we're not. But then, they announce it a day earlier, and we're just shocked rin, as shocked as the public. And I think that it's both really exciting for me and also frightening at the same time. And I'm just really trusting in the process right now. If ever I get in, then I'll push myself just as far as I can into the competition. Or if I don't, then I could use this as my learning curve, and it's definitely not going to be over for me.
Okay, perfect. I like the fact that you mentioned that. I like the fact that you anticipated my question that what would you do just in case you did not make it. So it seems to me that you have things well planned out. But of course, as they say, we have to hope for the best and expect for the worst, right?
Yeah.
So, but again, we also cannot discount the power of manifesting. So if you believe in yourself and you claim that you're going to get there, you will get there because you put in the work. I mean, it would be a different thing if you're not putting in the work. But we're able to see that you're able to put in the work. You're able to show us your interview medal, and that's a good thing, and that should help you get there. Now, my question to you is a very pageant related question, but for the benefit of our pageant fans, I would ask this to you: why should you be the next Miss Universe Philippines 2021?
I think that I don't necessarily deserve to win the crown and to represent our country. I think that if ever I do win, it's because I worked hard for it. As I've always said, I'm a very goal oriented person, and I don't stop until I achieve what I've been working so hard for. And I think that this type of person could be an asset to the organization, and as well could represent the country the best as anyone could possibly represent the country.
Thank you, Nadine. We are about to wind this interview down because the main purpose of this interview is to really get to know you, get to know your quirks, and really get to know your personality. So my question to you is, what is your message to your family, to your dads and friends?
Okay, so my message to my dads, my family, and friends. So I'm just really hoping that you all stay patient with me. Ever since I switched to this new diet, I've been more moody, and it's very typical. But I'm very, very glad that, and I wouldn't have anyone else surrounding me right now. I think that they're handling me the best that they can. So of course, the number one thing that I have to say is thank you so much for being here for me. A lot of other candidates, not many other candidates for sure have had more supportive people as you, and I'm just really grateful again for the support system that I've had ever since I was younger. So thank you so much, and I'm sorry if I tend to annoy you now because I have a, I've always I've been really moody these past few days. I think that the stress contributes to it.
Sorry about the noise. Um, my next question to you is, what is your message to the people of Marinduque whom we are representing now?
Of course, I want to say thank you to them because I was told by Miss Monica Rabanera that again, Marinduqueños are very picky with who gets to represent. Yet, they accepted me as their representative, and I'm just really honored to have, to have studied the place, to have fallen in love with it even more. I don't think that I would have been representing any other place right now. And syempre, we're already in top 50. Onting push na lang. Onting push na lang. We'll make it to top 30, I promise. All we have to do right now, though, is just wait. We've already done our part. Although today is the last day for votations, but, we're already so close. We can do it.
All right. Now that you mentioned that, after this interview or prior to this interview, you may have had acquired new fans and new supporters. So this is your chance. Before I ask you the final question, please give us your social media platforms so we can follow you. If you have a fan page, please let us know. And also, please give us instructions on how to vote you for the last time before the voting closes.
Okay, to follow me through this Miss Universe Philippines journey, you can find me at Facebook, Simone Nadine Bornilla, and on Instagram at Simone Bornilla. And there's also this KTX subscription that you could acquire. I will just send the link to Sir, and then after that, today again is the last day for votation, and I'm just really hoping that no matter the outcome, I've made you all proud. We've definitely done our best to get this far, and hopefully we get the top 30, and hopefully I get us further.
Okay, perfect. My last question to you is complete the statement. We're going to do a boy and Bunta question. Complete the statement. I am Simone Nadine Bornilla, and I am.
And I am Miss Universe Philippines Dark Horse.
Perfect. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, we just presented to you a very beautiful, a very smart, a very articulate, and a very pleasing lady from who's representing Marinduque, if you like this interview and if you are a new fan, a converted fan of Simone, please do support her in her Miss Universe journey and cast a vote on her behalf so that she can further her pageantry journey and get into the top third. On behalf of Sash Factor, my name is Carl Capellan, and I would like to thank everyone for joining this interview. And I would like to request that everybody stay safe and enjoy. Good night, everyone. Take care.
Good night, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for